Welcome to the third edition of Chaotic Night Network, your place for all tabletop gaming news. I won't say sports, but all the new stuff that's coming out for anything that you can do on the tabletop. We're checking out a couple of new releases. I've got one here. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
But like always, let's start with Games Workshop, new releases. What do we got coming next week?
So next week we have some specialist game releases. Nothing new for Age of Sigmar, nothing new for Warhammer 40K. But we are seeing the new Halfling Blood Bowl team. So it's always good to see Blood Bowl getting a little more life, breathed into it there. And so we got the
It's definitely a game that I wish we would see more of. Not
Yeah.
maybe more new stuff, because I think they support it pretty well. But like in stores and maybe other stores see it more than we do. But I love Blood Bowl. So.
Yeah, more
side
league
note.
play, and I think when football season kicks back in, you see a lot more interest.
Oh, you'll be seeing some here on Chaotic Night Network. We'll have a Blood Bowl league coming 1st of August, September, when the NFL season kicks off.
We're seeing a lot of teams now finally, though. Like in
Yeah,
plastic,
there's a lot of
There's
choice.
still a lot of Forge World releases too for like star players and whatnot. But we are seeing the Halfling team come in. They are also releasing a new pitch, dice and cards for the team as well. And then for a very limited time, they're going to do the made to order, redoing the old Treeman star player and the old Halfling Hot Pot too that they could put on their teams.
Halflings look good.
And then
The
Necromunda.
models look are good.
Necromunda.
Oh, Necromunda.
Who do we got?
We've got Scabs and his partner. Oh, wait, this is the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scabs and his partner.
You know, blank his name.
Blanked his name.
Kel Jericho.
I said Jericho, but I can't
Kel
remember his first
Jericho,
name
one of the
every time.
legendary bounty hunters in Necromunda. There's even some novels about him out there.
Two
from
hot
Black
shot
Library.
las pistols. Boop, boop, boop.
And his
Guns.
kind of henchman Scabs, who's like I think he's like part Ratling from one of the rat skins, I think, from the Underhive. I'm probably mixing those up. But anyway, we're seeing a little bit. I think it's really cool that Games Workshop is releasing bounty hunters for Necromunda, and that it's not all Forge World releases. I like to see stuff where it's Games Workshop where it can come directly to the local game store.
Makes
So-
players more excited too. And Necromunda is another thing that we'll see
Yes.
hopefully soon on our Legacies of War day, which is Saturdays.
We have a really cool Necromunda board.
Yeah.
And so we just need to get some gangs painted up and get a team of people together to fight for the Underhive, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we have the board. The board, I promise you, is really cool.
Yeah. So look for that. That'll be coming in the next few months. But the Blood Bowl League will definitely be sometime in August. We'll get that rolling and put that on. Probably the Legacies of War day as well.
Yeah. Legacies of
probably hit
War is
Saturdays.
we're gonna cover our specialist games then as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a pretty light week for Games Workshop, but that's good. Sometimes it's good to get a little bit of breathing room.
It's
and-
good. It lets the players breathe a little bit. So I think they're doing good work. I still haven't heard much about the conspiracy of whatever's going on with their product, but we didn't get an announcement on the Sylvaneth book,
Right.
which I'm disappointed. Sad face. And so I'm still looking forward to that. And when we do our General's Journey for Age of Sigmar, I think that's
Yeah, that's coming
no,
up.
that's not what I'm going to play. I'm playing something else.
So also down like the rumor mill and from the Games Workshop community site, we are seeing that their new contrast paint line is coming soon. They're doing all this big push on battle ready armies, and so I think the week after next we'll probably see a lot more information on that coming out.
Excited for that, though Chaos will do most of that because he's the master painter. I just paint to get him on the table. We actually do the General's Journey campaigns so that I will paint armies. That's why we do them.
And I think the contrast paints will help him a lot because it'll help him get his models done with one
maybe
thick
I'm still
coat.
like trying to figure out the one thick coat thing. Just you slap one coat of paint on and
Let it dry.
isn't that what
and
primer is? I don't know. I'm not questioning Games Workshop, so don't take it that way. But I'm like, what is it?
I think their new paint is a lot like the Night Haunt Gloom that we saw, like the ones that came out when the Night Haunts did.
Yeah, I use
and
that.
you put them over a white base, and like it gets really thick and really shades the model, but pulls away from the edges enough that you're getting your contrast. You're getting your highlight to shade in one coat. My only concern with that, and maybe this will be addressed when the line releases, and maybe they'll, I'm sure they've already thought of it, but like I think it leaves kind of a washed out, like the blue is like a washed out denim look. rather than like a vibrant blue or a vibrant green. You
Well,
have
so
to add extra coats.
Tell
to make
me
that
as a
happen.
painter, I put that on because I use that. I have a warband for Underworlds that's actually fully painted for the night haunts, and I use the Hexwraith Flame, I believe it's
Yep.
called. It's the green color over white, and it was awesome. But to me, it was almost like the inks, the shade,
Like the shades.
the
or,
shades where
yeah.
you just fill it, and then it was much more vibrant, and the green stood out a lot more on the white. But if that's like your contrast paint, I don't see that. I'm gonna have to paint the model still,
Right.
like right.
We'll
So as a
see.
contrast, yeah, okay.
We'll see. We'll see. We're speculating, yeah.
now, but that's okay because it is a big announcement. I think
Yeah.
I mean, I think even Games Workshop shut down for a few days while they were working on that. So, but we're excited to do that. Nothing else from Games Workshop, right?
That's it from Games Workshop.
Yeah, light week. So, but excited. We will have General's Journey coming up this week on Legacies of War this Saturday. So that'll be our first kind of kickoff. So check out that premiere for that show, and then we'll get into our other show tomorrow that we're really excited about. But first, Ghosts of the Salt Marsh. Coming from Wizards of the Coast, new D&D adventure /
Source book.
source book.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff in it. It is really cool. I was actually under the impression that it was just an adventure with some alternate rules when they talked to us at Gamma, but this thing actually covers a ton of stuff. You got at sea combat, boat combat. There's a ton of boat maps.
There's backgrounds for characters that are
yeah.
kind of themed around the campaign. It is not an adventure. It is 7 adventures. It's a lot like Tales of the Yawning Portal. And so it's going to... You even talks about how you can mix in the adventures from Tales of the Yawning Portal in this to kind of make a more fleshed out campaign. It is definitely a throwback to the old adventures. It is essentially remakes. I haven't read it thoroughly, but it's essentially remakes of 7 previous edition adventures, going all the way back to first edition, back to the U series that came out of the UK originally. And they give credit to all those original authors as well.
I thought that was cool. Like in the front of the book, I was reading that, and going throwback to me is always good because it brings back when
it hits the nostalgia. It's the nostalgia in the old gamers, but I think it's also a fresh look at the adventures as well. And I think even if you're an old school player, you'll get that nostalgia, but you'll still have fun playing through it. It's going to be a little different, and it is 5th edition, which is just different by its nature. I think it's a solid. I think it's a solid book. I'm excited because on Thursdays for Immersion RPG, we're back in a boat. Yeah. And now I just got a really cool source book that involves all kinds of boat things. I wonder what we might see this Thursday.
Okay, we're gonna stay off the boat Thursday.
That might be
to me
that might be true. That might be true. They might spend a lot more time not in the boat than on the boat.
Lorik is still on the boat.
He is on the boat.
Yes, he is. I'm in real trouble because now he has rules to kill me.
I do.
This is a fantastic book. We haven't got a chance to dig through it thoroughly like Chaos said, but because we just actually got them today. I think they're actually available to buy today.
Yep.
These are the alternate covers.
Yeah, we have the alternates here. We don't have the normal ones.
We don't have the normal ones yet. So
that's okay. The alternates are cooler.
Aren't they always cooler? They didn't do the soft rubbery feel like like these.
They have a more standard book texture to them.
Yeah, like the Volos, where if you feel it, it's like very rubbery. Or there's all of them were like that. So
as you can see from our bookshelf, we are a fan of the fancy books. So
yeah, we had our pictures, and we'll put those up later when we do our things. But we had a Dungeon Master's book and a Player's Handbook, and everyone was like, "Well, what books are you holding up?" And they were the D&D, but they're the
fancy ones, so people don't notice them. They don't recognize them.
It's because we're pretty fancy. Great book. Pick it up. $50 at your LGS.
The only other thing from Wizards really is talk about is the fact that War of the Spark is still remarkably difficult to get.
Yeah, talking to the distributors, they're all out. They're making efforts, I guess. We're waiting for Wizards to get a wave 3. I think we're on.
Yeah, I haven't seen rationing like this since like the original Zendikar set.
Yeah.
So,
Dominaria had some dead spots where you couldn't get it for like a week.
Right.
But I didn't ever feel this
Not
where
like
it's
this.
like I'm scrabbling for product every single week. So, and I hear that actually from a lot of local game stores that they're having, those issues with getting War of the Spark. So it's a great set. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. you put 36 planeswalkers in a set, it's probably going to be pretty good. So, but that's what they did, and we will be in Wizards or in Magic news. We will be opening a Japanese box.
Yep, we've been talking about that for a little bit now, but it is happening soon.
We gotta learn the alternate art cards, or I may just have one of our diehard Magic folks come in and make sure that we get them right. So. We may actually take that video straight to YouTube and not live stream it, so we're still working on that, but look for that in the next week or so. An opening of the Japanese alt art box that we were able to get at the store. So super excited about that. What about tomorrow? What are we doing?
All right, so tomorrow we're kicking off a new show. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, we are kicking off our show Dungeon Delvers. And Dungeon Delvers is a board game-based show that's going to be focused on the dungeon crawl games that are out there, and we're going to start with a really well-known one that came up through Kickstarter, and it is Gloomhaven. A friend of mine calls it the last board game you'll ever need to buy.
This box is a monster.
It is. Lift with your knees, not with your back on this one.
This game's fantastic, though.
Yeah.
But super excited. Dungeon Delver should be a really, I think, fun show.
Yep.
Mostly because tomorrow I get to play in it, and then won't just be me and Chaos all the time, or Chaos and I.
We have a couple other people will be joining us for it as well. We actually have a group that, for this game, we've played through Gloomhaven considerably. 28 individual sessions, I think we played, and I don't know. I don't know how far we are through it. I want to say we're halfway through it. So
halfway, maybe. I don't know. I guess we got to finish.
Yeah.
We're not going to finish that game though. We're going to start a brand new.
Yes, we're cracking open. That is a brand new set. All we've done literally that set is we took out the 4 heroes we're going to play, and I've been painting up the models, and I'm hoping to have them all done by tomorrow. 2 are done. The important one is done. So
mine's done.
Yeah, yours is done.
So we're gonna play 4 new players, and really excited about that. But look for other games on that show too. I think we're doing some Imperial Assault down the road. Descent will be a good one.
Silver Tower, which is a little bit of an older one.
Fortress.
Blackstone Fortress.
You know, honestly, if we could get the original Warhammer Quest, I might look for that on eBay.
I could probably get a second mortgage on my house and pick that up. Yeah.
Oh man, I still regret selling mine because it was worth a second mortgage.
I gave mine away.
So.
That's yeah.
Oh, that hurts my heart for you. But excited. That'll be a great show. Coming to you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. and we'll go for 7 p.m. Sorry, Mountain Standard Time. I was on Pacific Coast Time. 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Gloomhaven we'll play for a few weeks.
So we're gonna play Gloomhaven for probably like an 8 to 12 week stretch, and then we'll take a break from it to showcase a different game for a while, and then we'll go back to it. Gloomhaven is an endeavor, but we want to play all the way through it. Yep. And we have really big plans for that too. So.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. So check that out again Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Ready Table 1. I just want to throw some attention on that. We started some Magic stuff. Magic is popular. It's a great game. Ready Table 1, we announced it. We talked about it. We ran some shows on it. They were less than well received. Let's just say that. There wasn't a ton of viewers, and I think what we were looking for didn't kind of matriculate from the show we showed. So we took that back into the creative room, and we mixed it all up, and we said, what can we do? What would make it more interesting? And so we have a new version coming out, and we've announced it actually on our Facebook.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of interest, even from players who are not at our local area. And that was kind of our goal, is to maybe drag some players, maybe even further out than the state that we're in, and have this be really an adventure kind of series for it. And what we're going to do is, if you ever watched Road Rules or one of these reality shows, it won't be quite like that. But we're going to get 8 players, have a regulation tournament, throw them into the mix to find out who's kind of the best Magic player, which means you got to play all the formats.
Yeah, so we'll be doing 3 formats in the league. We'll be playing Standard, Modern, and Limited. And the way we have it set up for this league is each player will do a best 2 out of 3 against each other player in the league in each format.
Yeah.
So they're going to play 21 matches altogether.
and there'll be interviews intermingled with that. We'll have game coverage. We'll have some commentary on deck choice and what's going on, and you'll be able to follow. And kind of our goal is to get players to really kind of personify them for you guys, because that's what we do this for, and get your favorite players to follow, and that's what we're kind of looking for. And so we'll have these 8 people who will qualify, spend 7 weeks playing each other in that format, and then we'll cut to the top 4, and those guys will play in like a semifinal final, and we'll be done. And those finals will be voted on by you, the audience.
Yes.
What you want to see, what's the format of the finals, that's going to be up to you guys as you watch over the 7 weeks. You'll get to vote and say, we'll have a poll go up on all of our social media, and we'll kick out what is the format for the finals, whether it's limited, modern, or standard, and the players then will play that for the championship of Season 1. After Season 1, we'll have some fun. We might play some Arch Enemy. We might play some Planes Chase with the 4 players that qualified, and have a little fun for a week, and then we'll go back to the top 5 will stay. The
top 5 of those 8 stay.
Yep.
The other 3, so 6th, 7th, and 8th place, all get relegated, and then they go into a pool with other players who are trying to get into the league as well, and we'll do a relegation tournament. The top 3 players from relegation will then move into the league and take their spots, and then we begin a new season.
Yep.
And we are, of course, doing prizes for top spot at the end of each season. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun. Oh, one thing, because we see this a lot in Magic tournaments, there will be no intentional draws allowed.
Yeah.
So.
And we just lost some player base, but that's okay, 'cause we want to see them fight it out. We're here kind of for the entertainment factor, of course, and so we wanted to push that ticket. And so I think some of the players that maybe signed up, because that's not on the Facebook page, that there's no intentional draws, may go, oh, really? But there aren't any intentional draws, so be ready for that.
If you want a spot, you play for your spot. Yep. And then when we play in the league, you play. It's about playing games.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
And seeing that happen on the table. And so we've got a lot of hype, I think, in our local community, and hopefully with this video, with some of the other social media blasts that we do, we'll even get some more players. And going into Season 2 and Season 3, who knows, might be a thing. You travel here and stay for a month or so and play in the league. It might be kind of cool. So we'll see how that goes, and get ready for Ready Table 1. And that's going to be on Sundays, still on Sundays at noon. For about 4 hours.
It's not going to start until the 9th of June, I believe.
Right. So we have the first relegation tournament on the 2nd to see who qualifies to get in, and then the first week of Ready Player 1 will be June 9th.
Yep.
Again, which will be Sunday. So check in for that. I'm actually pretty excited about the Ready Table 1 premiere.
Yeah,
what's the other big news that we had at Chaotic Night Network this week?
We made affiliate.
Okay. Super excited. That's all you guys. We really, really appreciate it. It's why are you laughing? Oh, and our production team's laughing too. I guess I can't dance anymore. I won't do that again. But super excited. So now we can have subscribers. And we've got some awesome plans for people who subscribe. You can remember something, and I think Twitch really tries to put this in your face because they're owned by Amazon, but your Amazon Prime account can be used for a free subscription. You just have to redo it every single month. And I'm going to tell everybody out there, we would love to have you subscribe. It would be great. It would help us kind of grow and change and matriculate the studio as you watch our role play, and we're gonna start having battle reports on our game tables and stuff like that this week.
It helps us grow.
That's so big for us, and we want to give it back to you guys. So that's really the goal. Is giving that back. And so again, big thanks from me and from Chaos, and I think everybody at the network that helps out and volunteers their time. That kind of stuff just shows that we're excited.
If you do have Amazon Prime, you can link your Twitch account for free. It'll upgrade you to a Twitch Prime account. It'll let you do the free subscription. If you're like me and you don't remember things, and I just set it in my phone to renew my subscription after 31 days, and then you just tell the phone to do it every 31 days. You'll get that reminder. You just literally just go in. You just go in and hit the button. It auto subscribes. Doesn't cost you anything, and it does help us grow our channel.
There's also other subscription levels that Again, feel free. We would love that as well. Just any help. We can also do, I think, the bits and stuff. We're still learning about some of those stuff.
You can donate to us with bits, especially during live streams. Cheer on your favorite players in either the role-playing games or the dungeon games or Magic. Board games when we do them as well. You can.
And we'll have some stuff for that. We're developing that as we got it a little, well, actually a lot faster, I think, than we had originally planned. So again, that's thanks to you guys. So.
And one of our plans is too, and we're still working out all the details right now, is for any of our subscribers on any level, is that, for instance, RPG Out of the Box, which is showing up at 7 o'clock tonight, when they're done, when Good X Ash is done running that, we will be giving away that starter that they used today. And if it makes any difference to anybody, we'll probably have the whole cast sign the inside of the box or something kind of cool. And we will be giving that away to one of our subscribers at random. And as we go through and proceed with different games and some of our different shows, we'll be doing the same thing. RPG Out of the Box, we plan on continuing to do that as well. We'll be giving away starter sets when we're done with them. Gloomhaven, when we're done with it. We will be giving away that Gloomhaven set, including all the models that I painted for it as well.
Painted by Chaos. That means they'll be good.
So,
and that's like what, $140 box set.
It is a $140 board game on its own. Plus, we're using the reusable stickers.
Yep. So we won't ruin anything.
Yeah. So anyway, those are
lots of other stuff coming too.
There will be benefits for subscription.
We are going to give benefits, not just you can watch our videos again and that kind of thing. There will be some serious games coming your way as a subscriber as we grow and develop the channel and as things grow. And again, those subscription help make that even better. So the rewards program, and we'll formalize something, I'm sure. And we also have more VIPs now, and we're going to formalize that as well for those of you who are on Twitch, and that means a lot too. And you did mention we're going to sign the boxes, or not us, but we're going to sign those boxes.
Right.
That could be a big deal. It could be a big deal. Not right now, but it might be a big deal in the future. So you think, oh, they're going to write on it? It might be worth a lot more money if we do. Give us a little while. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'm more upbeat on that than Chaos is, but that's fine.
Give us a year.
So second segment, as we look at what we going into, we spent a lot of time on news, and we've been doing that week after week. And what we wanted to do with this is have a segment where we kind of talk about what our favorite games are, what our experiences with those games are, and kind of get down to the nitty-gritty. And the first one that we talked about doing was the favorite RPG role-playing game. What is your favorite and one memory? So we'll start with Chaos. We got different games.
So this is a complicated question, right?
It's a hard one. But, that's right.
We judge games on different things, and so. I guess my rebuttal to that is, when you say it's your favorite game, do you mean favorite role-playing system, or do you mean favorite role-playing world?
Just because you mix them all up, and that makes you not a purist. Let's just say in this.
And of course, we got to be specific on edition.
In this way, let's say system.
Because I'm gonna have different answers, right?
I know. Why don't we answer both of those questions? What's your favorite system?
Okay.
And what's your favorite setting?
Okay, so favorite system is an easy one for me. I'm a narrative player. I'm a narrative GM. I don't like a lot of crunch. I don't like a lot of rules. I play way too many games to keep all the rules in my head all the time, right? Like D&D 3.5, I know there's a huge following for it. That's awesome. I'm glad people love that. I can't stand that system, right? It's too big. There's too many rules, too much to remember. Pathfinder did a good job of bringing it together. But so for me, I like narrative systems. And Wrath and Glory, man, that one was really good. Like when that one dropped, I was so excited. Narrative, 40K, two things I love. But Genesis is got to be my favorite role-playing system that's out there. It's put up by Fantasy Flight Games.
We have a copy right here.
That's the game right there. I am running a game of it. So anybody familiar with GURPS? I make the comparison to GURPS a lot. The name itself is a play on words. It's generic system. It doesn't have its own setting. It doesn't have its own world at its base. It is basically, here's the rule structure for a role-playing game. Make it whatever you want to make it. And then the book itself includes a bunch of different settings, from like steampunk to fantasy to sci-fi, cyberpunk, modern, weird occult stuff. Like anything you want is in that. You want to do, they call it Weird War, where they're like mixing like vampires and werewolves with World War II, or so it's totally historically accurate.
Sorry.
And Old man Sarge, thinking of you, buddy. But it has a really unique dice system. It's actually harder for veteran players to wrap their head around it. It's a positive and negative dice system that uses symbols that negate each other out, and at the end of the day, you're left with either successes or failures, and advantages or disadvantages. And there's also like a type of critical hit, type of critical failure, and they generally cancel each other out except for the criticals. They don't. You can actually get both in the same result, and it puts the impetus onto the player or the person rolling the dice to tell the story that the dice have just laid out for you. So it's, like I said, by far my favorite system. As a GM, it's super easy to run. It's super intuitive.
It lets the players and GM actually, and this is just my take on it, because I was one of those veteran players, if you will, who was like, well, that's kind of okay, but like, how do I hit? What's my target number? And there isn't one. And it's really cool when we played a game and you get to interact. And so you get to become as a player, you get to become part of the story, and you don't force the GM, I would say, but you guys get to work together and the story develops of its own accord, which in my opinion is great role playing, and that's really what it should be about.
Yeah,
but,
and it has tools that feed
fantastic,
that as well.
Yeah.
It has tools that feed into that, built into the system with their story points.
And they do have some supplemental books that have come out that talk about special worlds.
So getting to those, actually, so I don't have the other one here, but there's Android, which is their sci-fi cyberpunk setting, and then there's also Realms of Terranoth, which is the fantasy setting. And if you take those two things and you mash them together, you get what is my favorite setting in a role-playing game, and that's Shadowrun. I was introduced to Shadowrun a long time ago, back in high school. I think I started playing Shadowrun around 91, and I've played every edition of the game that's come out since then. I have just undying love for the Shadowrun universe. I have less love for the Shadowrun rules. Sorry, guys, but it's too crunchy. And so using Android, using Terranoth, I kind of put together my own Shadowrun campaign. I have guys I've been playing with for over 20 years in Shadowrun who have sworn up and down they will never go back to playing the Shadowrun system using Genesis now. They absolutely love it. It tells the kind of story we want to tell. It's easy, it's fast. And anybody who's not familiar with Shadowrun, there's a ton of information out there. You can wiki it. Shadowrun is basically, though, a world where magic comes back into the modern age, and we find out that all the things we believe are myths are actually real. And then elves and dwarves and orcs and trolls and dragons all come back into the world. But it's also this cyberpunk dystopian future where the corporations rule with a heavy hand, and the world is recognizable but very different than the world we live in today. And it's just one of my favorite settings. So it's my favorite setting by a decent margin. So, what's your favorite role-playing game?
Well, you stole mine. I mean, mine's Shadowrun on both ends. I love the Genesis system. I actually had the opportunity to play in a game that Chaos ran as a player in that system in the Shadowrun setting, and it was super good, and and I love the interaction that you have. But probably from a nostalgia standpoint, that's why I would pick Shadowrun, and I didn't know he was going to pick I think I knew that Shadowrun was one of his favorite games, but not the. He kind of took my answer, I guess, is the long version, but that's okay because I like Shadowrun on both ends. Third edition is my game, though.
I'll agree with that.
I didn't like any other editions. Sorry, Catalyst or whoever made the other editions, FASA and all those. Well, FASA made third edition, so
FASA did 1 through 3, yeah.
Yeah, they finished well, and that's what I mean. I know when we first came out, we actually ran a regular Shadowrun, actually in the basement down there, and that was a lot of fun. And I got to GM that, and it was kind of very nostalgic for me. And probably the reason is because it was one of the first games that I actually really played. I did some D&D, I did some one-offs with some buddies when I got into the gaming world, as it were. But Shadowrun was the first game where I really dug in, did the research. And again, yeah, this is back in the 90s, so research wasn't Google it and I'll find it. It was, you had to go to the library and all kinds of stuff. And the library still exists, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we had just a boatload of fun. I think we ran a campaign for almost 2.5 years, and I know
nice.
Somebody out there's probably got a better record than that, but that's a long time to run a game, and it was fantastic. And there was a ton of role playing. We didn't roll dice every week. And so there was just a lot of role playing. I mean, there were sessions, and some people will think this is lame probably, where we would just go to the mall, the group would, and we would hang out. And that maybe make us really weird, I don't know. But we role played a lot of that stuff, and there was adventures.
It probably
that
falls
happened
into
at
the
the
you had
mall,
to
but
be
yeah.
there moment, you know.
It would be, but it was good. I mean, we shot people too at the mall, but it was really good. And so I even liked the system itself. I will lean to the Genesis system, but I really like the system. I like the number crunching, but I'm maybe more of a number cruncher, especially as a player. And I think I would do disservice if we didn't shout out to Dungeons and Dragons, because
Sure.
that was, again, that's one of the things, Magic the Gathering and then Dungeons and Dragons, and then I went down, that's how my gaming world melted down. So,
Oh yeah.
that was the original system when we got in and did all that. And I mean, you see shows about it now, and so it gives us, I think, some of the staying power as gamers. And I think D&D's even getting a bigger hit. You got Stranger Things out there using it as a backbone, and you know, Critical Role, shout out to those guys, because they're doing it and making it big.
Yep.
But so I think you'd be amiss if you didn't just mention D&D.
Just
There's a ton of great games
just
out there,
because it's not our favorite doesn't mean it's not a good game,
right.
you know. And
Well, we both said Shadowrun, and so now I'm like, oh, we gotta say. I mean, I played Vampire the Masquerade, which I know Chaos isn't like too super
Not a fan.
into. I had a lot of fun with that game. I liked that the system was different. You got to use D10s, and that you were hit. There was just a lot. We didn't play any long campaigns with that game, but I played that a lot. GURPS was fun. I mean, that was
did
way
a little
back in the
tiny
day.
bit
But
of GURPS. Did some Torg.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of the Palladium games.
okay,
I grew up not too far from Palladium's headquarters, and so Palladium was really like a big, you know, game company where I lived. And like I saw the fantasy game. I ran Robotech, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Got to see all that kind of stuff
Gotcha.
too. But I played every edition of D&D. I mean, I started with D&D Basic, like basic. Got into AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and played every edition since then. I played Pathfinder, beta tested Pathfinder. There's a ton of great games, and as I find out getting older and everybody gets more responsibilities and different schedules, it's a lot harder to get people together to make the games happen. And so you tend to narrow down like one or two favorites that you play more frequently.
right. I think every gaming group probably does that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
don't
different when
think
you're in
that's
high
a
school.
thing,
When you're in
but-
high school and everybody has the same schedule,
yeah.
it's a lot easier to get games
Play
together
a
and
bunch
play
of
4
games.
times a week or whatever. But
Well, we have a hard time doing that now, but yeah, there's just a bunch of good games. I know one of my adventures that we ran was that Warhammer original fantasy role playing game.
that was a good one.
Oh god, that was really fun.
That was
We had
so
a lot of
brutal.
fun with that. It
So
was
brutal.
but it was so much fun. But there's a ton, and you go out there. So
We were remiss if we didn't say this one. Legend of the Five Rings.
oh,
We're playing that tonight, actually, not on
too bad we're
camera.
not live streaming that.
Yeah,
That'd be really
yeah.
cool, but-
We are playing some Legend of the Five Rings tonight. Samurai themed game. It's the Fantasy Flight version once again. They did a great
that's
job
Next
with it.
Genesis, by the way. is
Our
Fantasy
production
Flight.
team
Check that
plays
out.
in it too. Like we got them over there playing too. So it's good. It's a really good one.
And it's different. It's got proprietary dice too.
Proprietary dice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems to be Fantasy Flight's thing.
Well,
they like
I
that.
think a lot of games are going to that. Age of Empire, which is also Fantasy Flight, but I had a lot of fun in that game. We only played once, but that was a really fun game. I wish we played again. I got to play a Jedi. I didn't have a lightsaber though.
Hey, also too, we want to mention if you are a LGS and you are out there, we are looking to showcase other LGSs as well. And
Yeah, so there's a lot of shows out there that they talk about, you know, the LGS, and they want to just do shout out and go shopping at your LGS, and we're all about that. We run one, so do it. That's true. You know, the big box stores, they get a lot of the games that we used to have, and we were the only people that carried them, and now they get them. So, yeah, they're a little cheaper. Yeah, okay, you can make that argument over and over again, but where are you going to play them? And that's at your local game store. Magic the Gathering players, yeah, you can get those cards other places, but local game stores are where you know, we're going to put a big plug. So we want to take that one step further.
Yeah.
And make a local game store spotlight.
Yep.
And so have that opportunity, but we need your help. If you're a local game store owner, if you know one, let them know. We want to see your store, and we want to put it up here and showcase it. I don't care where you're from. We want to put it up and let those people around you know that, hey, there's a local game store here. I don't know how many times I mean, we've been here almost 20
Almost
years.
20 years, yeah.
The number of people, I've lived here my whole life, didn't know you were here. Maybe that's on us. We do a good job, but we want to help the local game stores, not just say, hey, go shopping there and thumbs up and do it. We want to actually spotlight your store. So send us a video.
Yeah, we'll be doing a video walkthrough of our store here to do in an upcoming segment here soon. And we'll kind of use that as a template or format so that other LGSs can kind of copy that or give an idea of what we're looking for. But we want you to really show off your store and and just give us your location
and yourself.
Yeah,
that's probably the biggest part of the local game store. I know Chaos here is like a staple in the community. If he wasn't there, probably wouldn't be here. So that's a thing. We want to know you too as the local game store owner.
And yeah. We'd be happy to do that for you, and I think all we're asking at this point really is if we're going to showcase your store is that you hype our show on your social media. When that time comes to showcase your show, you want your people to know that it's being showcased, so put it out there.
Yep, and we'll have a big plan for that, but really want to do the next level of a deal for the local game stores out there, and we'll have some programs and stuff that we hopefully will work together with some other local game stores.
That'd be great.
In some community. I'm super excited for that plan. That's part of our creative teams mixing it up and coming out of the room with a grand plan.
So I think we're on to our final little segment here before we wrap up.
Yeah, Q&As, questions and answers. We want to hear more from you. We've had a couple, but we want to hear more from you guys, especially as the community grows. And we're going to definitely try to get to them and give you a shout out as well. If it's your question, and we want to do that, so definitely if you want to email or tweet us, is that how you say that? Tweet us, send us a note on the chat over here. I know our moderator will get that, and we'll throw that into the next show. We probably won't. We want to eventually do it live.
We'll eventually
do
live Q&A.
Right now, we just need to store those questions up and bring them to the show. So what's the first one?
Okay, so the question we had is somebody was asking, we talked about doing painting tutorial videos, and they asked if we would do airbrushing tutorials as well. And my answer to that is a definite maybe. Live streaming.
That's a terrible Q&A.
I know. So live streaming, here's the thing.
Okay, though.
Live streaming airbrushing can be really awesome, or it can be 20 minutes of me swearing at my airbrush because they clog, they have issues sometimes, and I think live streaming it probably isn't going to happen, but we might record some where we can edit out the 20 minutes of me ranting for the 3 minutes of me actually airbrushing and show some really good how-to videos on how to airbrush. Airbrushes
How many of you out there, though, would love to see Chaos rant for 20 minutes? Because
we have someone for that. His name's Zero, and he's
show's
coming.
Is that what he's going to do? Okay, never mind.
So we got that
I'd still like to
we
see
got that
Chaos
covered.
Rant.
It's more of a quiet swearing and death threats at an inanimate object. But yeah, I would love to do some airbrush tutorials. It's just how we're figuring out the format still.
That's the only question? It is the only question.
Production, we got anything else?
We need more questions.
Okay.
We are calling to you to get some more questions because we think that'll be like a fun segment. And also, what other segments do you want to see from Chaos and myself that we can bring to you each week? So
message us too, like on the personal segment, if there's anything you want to know, like favorite armies, favorite war games, how'd you get started in the hobby? Throw those questions out there. We'd be happy to answer those.
We might not be popular enough yet.
Maybe not.
We're gamers.
Why are you guys still talking? That might be one they ask.
That's okay. You could ask that too, and then we can go into a long rant about that.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
We'll go into a long rant about why we're still talking.
All right, for the rest of the week, wrapping up today. Tomorrow we got Dungeon Delvers.
Let's start tonight. Let's start tonight.
No, I'm going to go back to tonight
okay,
so that they get the fresh. We're going to do it
Fair.
right now. Dungeon Delvers is on Wednesdays. That starts. The premiere show is tomorrow. 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Mountain Standard Time, and it will be Gloomhaven. Thursday, we have Immersion RPG, where the fate of Lorik and the crew, and I'm not trying to be that way, but I can't remember everybody's name right now. So Lorik and the crew and everybody, we just found.
I think.
We just found my daughter. I'm just consumed
I think
by
Loper
that.
and crew is the way to say it.
Loper and crew.
Loper and crew.
Why? Because he can sail.
He's kind of sailing the boat. He's kind of the captain.
Of the boat? What happens when we're off the boat?
He still seems like he knows what he's doing.
So does Lorik. But he just found his daughter. He's a little shaken. I mean, honestly, that's the truth. Check that out on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Fridays again, not this week, but in the following week, we'll bring you the boardroom at 7 p.m. where we just kind of play some board games and unbox them. Saturday, and that does premiere this week, is
So we're going to be doing it
Legacies of War.
Legacies of War. We're doing just our 40K segment this week for the General's Journey. I always want to say Journal. General's Journey.
It would work.
And it's going to be at 3 o'clock this Saturday. Normally, Legacies of War will go from noon all day. But since we're just doing the 40K segment, which will be airing about 3 o'clock normally anyway, we're just doing that this week. We'll introduce you to all the participants in this who are going to spend 6 months building a 1,500-point army. And it's going to follow their journey as they paint and prepare these armies, give interviews on their battles. We'll probably do some live stream battles with them at some point as well.
Yep.
And that starts this week. And then that's it for this week.
That's it for this week. And then, again, coming on the 9th, we'll have the Ready Table 1 on Sunday. And so, again, our goal to bring, I think our goal was 20 hours of live stream a week.
Oh, yeah.
We're real close to that already, but we're going to hit that, and then we'll push for more, too. So if that's one way to earn your subscription, we will be pushing for more content and have a full-time channel.
We just want to put quality content out there. So if you have any feedback on that, let us know as well.
Yeah. Even constructive criticism, we can hack it. We're really good at that. And we skipped Tuesday after KNN, our show here.
Yep.
We have RPG Out of the Box coming back there for episode 3. There's been some Facebook stuff. The new Chaotic Night webpage it's up right now.
It's not
done.
It's
not complete and
but
done. It's the skeleton is up. We actually have a graphic artist now.
Yes.
We've gotten big time.
Yes.
And he is actually, we had a meeting with him today, and he's actually working on that stuff for that, and then he'll also be working on the videos.
What's the website URL?
Chaoticnight.com.
And that's singular, not plural.
Yeah, don't put knights. Everybody tries to do that, and it's not like knights. I have a shield and a sword. It's N-I-G-H-T, no K. So it's chaotic with a K and night without.
Yep.
.com. And all the show lineups and a summary and pictures of all the crew that help us out. We'll be taking those tomorrow and put those up. So I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
So we will take a break here and get the crew set up for RPG Out of the Box. Don't go away. They'll be back with this week's adventure.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.